Hey, welcome back everyone. It's end of August now, we're getting into the fall, and that's why I have first Oktoberfest of the year. And it's time for August video game pickups. Let's start with the cartridges. It's got a couple more N64 imports to add to the growing stack, nowhere near as many as last month. But we'll see what next month brings. First we got the fifth and final MLB Jikkyou Powerful Pro, Konami Power Pros game. This is 2001. It's 2001 basic because I think this is keeping it on the older system. I believe this would have been moved on to PS2 era at this point. But the fifth and final one. Only Madden rivals it for how many games in a series, right? We've got Masters 98 from T&E Soft. This is back when the Masters and Augusta National thought that they deserved their own game, and it was still in that era where you could kind of justify that, but EA wasn't going to be the ones to do that. T&E Soft did. However, this is the second game that they made with the Masters exclusive license. There should be one on the Super Famicom as well. But surprising that this one never came here. Considering they did Wile-E Country Club and Nintendo published that themselves. I think Nintendo has something to do with Wile-E Country Club in the 90s, and that's why they did that. But like, this one would have sold, I think, the Masters license game. And, you know, everyone in the US would still have been very aware of the Masters at that point. This is one that I really wish that had come to the US just to get more RPGs, more, you know, unique games for the N64. This is Onegai Monster. This is a monster catching and raising simulator that I would like to be able to jump right into. I think there's got to be some work done to be able to actually play this, because it's going to be very heavy Japanese and reading, but always saw that one in the exclusives list and wish that we'd got it over here. And then lastly, for N64 imports, we got J-League Dynamite Soccer 64. This is Imagineers. They also had made two baseball games pretty early on. This came out in 97. So this probably was right in between their two baseball games that they didn't localize. Alright, and that's for 64. Just got one. I do have games for all 5 PlayStations, but they're not stacked up that way. That being said, I had my eye on this for a long time since I got that Light Gun and CRT, Lethal Enforcers 1 and 2 on the PS1. A compilation of 2 of the coolest and most fun light gun shooters from the pre-GunCon era, basically. Of course, that's Konami, and this is the when you get the basically FMV digitized sprite style. So the first one you had more like the urban, like cop environment, and then the second one, which I always thought was cool, was the Wild West gunfighter stuff. It's a compilation, both on the same disc right here for the PS1. We've got 2 Switch games. This is from a waiting on pre-orders to fulfill from PlayAsia from a 3 for $100 deal. Always getting all my stuff from there, like my first party Nintendo titles at this point are all from just waiting to do pre-orders from the PlayAsia 3 for $100. So we got Luigi's Mansion 2, Dark Moon HD. I have not played this since the original release on the 3DS, and I always knew it was a good game, and I played a little bit of it just now when I got this past month, and it's still a good game and everything. I just think there's a lot of changes that were made because it was on a handheld, but I don't think it's as good as 1 or 3, but I should probably play the rest of it before I really say that, but I've never considered this anywhere near as good as the first or third one. But I'm glad that it's here now, though, on the Switch. And our other Switch game, the Bitmap Bureau Collection. I actually really wanted to get Xenocrisis from these guys on 64, and the only reason that I had not pulled the trigger on it yet is because it's not like it's a 64 game. It's a game that they made for retro systems that they've put on all the retro systems, which has been really cool to see. They just did Super Nintendo, I believe, but they've done arcade original, like Super Nintendo, Genesis, 64, Neo Geo, of all like really cool releases that you can buy. And I was like waiting to justify like spending like $60-$70 on it, but And I just have a really good collection that has 3 of their games that are all supposed to be great. I've played a little Battle Axe, and I've played Xenocrisis at Galloping Ghost a little bit. And I've not played Final Vendetta yet, but I've seen that game too. So these are really, really good retro-styled games. There's a really good collection here. Xenocrisis, so for our top-down run-and-gun style. Battle Axe for top-down, like hack and slashy, like a Gauntlet. And Final Vendetta for a beat-em-up. So really, 3 very high-quality titles. One PlayStation 3 game. This is Street Fighter X Tekken Special Edition. I think Special Edition in this case really only refers to this. I think there's supposed to be a slipcover on it, but this copy didn't have it. I don't know if there was a DLC thing where you would have gotten the exclusives, or if it's just a PlayStation thing. I actually have to see if these come up if I put this in the PlayStation. I think Cole, Mega Man, and Pac-Man, like it says right here, are like PlayStation exclusives. That's why I never touched this game for a while, is because I knew that there was a lot of like weird stuff that happened with the roster on exclusives and downloads and all that. So I never went out of my way for this, but I think I got this for like... Oh, I got this in a 4 for $40, which we're going to talk about more. Having to be a retro game at a GameStop that... Or retro, this is not retro to me. Pre-HD is what I'll include as retro at this point. We'll have to get a few more years on before I start calling PlayStation 3 retro. Yeah, 5 exclusives to PlayStation 3. They should be on the disc, but I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing. I also know that game was on Vita. And I don't know if that was different from this PS3 version or anything like that. But, yeah, some more games. I'll talk about the one that I didn't get here. This is the 3rd game that I got at my 3 for 100. This is S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Legends of the Zone Trilogy. This is the first 3 S.T.A.L.K.E.R. games from the PC. Games that I have literally actually tried to play on my PC, but they run very poorly, even though my PC should be able to handle it. It's only a couple years old, and these are 10 to 15 years old. But it's always been really complicated as far as I can tell, so like they don't port these games usually. They've just gotten to the point where they're porting them. And I think the Switch is actually going to get this trilogy as a download. I don't know if there's going to be a physical for it yet, but having this on anything at all was really exciting to me. Because I love Chernobyl stuff. I think I've talked about it before when I've got the S.T.A.L.K.E.R. games on the PC. So I'm really excited to actually be able to play this on a platform that will cooperate with me. And then some other stuff in 4 for 40s. So GameStop, I tend to check all my local GameStops when they do 4 for 40 or 4 for 20. 4 games under $20 for $40. 4 games under $10 for $20. You don't get that much stuff out of that, but when it's like $5 a piece, you make some consolation picks in there. Only on PS4, but Like a Dragon Ishin. This is the new Like a Dragon, like turn-based style that Yakuza does, but in the like feudal Japan. I've seen this game go down really fast, but I think it's because they make a lot of Yakuza now, which is the opposite of what they used to do. So now like North America gets all these games and they get tons of copies printed and everything. So I know this series is still like really, really well regarded and really popular, and I've only played like 2 of the games in the series. And I haven't played any of these new ones yet, but I do think it's a cool series regardless. Yeah, I know this game isn't supposed to be that great, but this is Necromunda Hired Gun. I just kept looking at this as like, oh, it's not Bolt Gun. Bolt Gun is your classic boomer shooter style, like really high energy stuff. This is Necromunda, is a little bit more serious. I know, like I said, it's supposed to be kind of mid, but I'm interested in the setting and the style of FPS being so different. And again, it was not expensive, so. And same thing with this, S.T.A.L.K.E.R. XL for the PS4. This was made during a time before we got the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 reboot, or repackage, remake, whatever you want to call them. And there's still no Skate. Skate still doesn't exist. So someone tried their hand at doing this, S.T.A.L.K.E.R. XL 3D, I think 2-stick style, like Skate did. Looks pretty cool. I think it got like average reviews. But I'm always interested to see what people try, basically, with any skateboarding stuff, because I grew up on Tony Hawk myself, so. We got one PS2 game. I think this has been about like 3 years since I found anything worth buying at a thrift store, but it's Gauntlet 7 Sorrows. It's not good. I know this one's not good, which is why I didn't have it before. It was like $5. So, why not? One GameCube game. I never buy GameCube games anymore because I went crazy on it a couple years ago. But I never picked up Custom Robo because it was going for like $70 at the time. I think I paid like $40 for this, and that was a pretty good price to me, knowing it was complete. And I really wanted to get it because now I have both of those Custom Robos for the 64 imports, and it's not a very import-friendly game. So I just wanted to have something where I could actually definitely play Custom Robo. I felt like I owed it to myself to keep a lookout for that over the past month or two, and I got it for about $40, so it was a good price. It's got some Xbox One and such. I don't know how to like refer to shit anymore because you get this one here. You get Xbox One and Series X game. This is Call of Duty Vanguard. Vanguard was the one that came out. This was 21, I think, 2021. And I looked at that and I was like, oh my god. I don't know. They don't even know what to do and make anything special anymore. So I never paid any attention to this one. Recently saw Triple Jump rank every Call of Duty game. I don't remember because I know that I'd seen G-Man Lives do it, and I was really into that. And I was like, yes, Black Ops 2 and Black Ops whatever. And I was very surprised at how high this one was. And they had discussed it and said that like the campaign was considered to be very, very good. Like, really good. It's just that like they can't ever get all three right, all three game modes, campaign, multiplayer, zombies, in one go. And I was like, wait, but campaign, that's why I want them. So I got this sealed for $10 to hopefully make sure that I play this. There's probably 5 or 6 Call of Duty campaigns that I do want to play that I haven't like sat down to yet, because when you play Call of Duty, you want to, even after just like a 6 to 8 hour campaign, you want to take a couple months off before you play another one. But I want to know. I want to know and play them. So I've got 2 games from the Dark Souls franchise. I still need to get good, but I feel slightly closer to getting there. I played some of Another Crab's Treasure. That was the game that was going to hopefully be my gateway, and I got a little bit into it. I got a little bit into the rhythm, but the other thing is, like, these games, I want to be into these games because I love the lore and I love the look and the feel of them and so much, and I'm just not good at them, and I know that's the point. So I managed to pick. One of these was in the 4 for $40, and one of them I just waited on a long time. But I paid about $10 for each of these. So yeah, I want to get on my wish list on Switch. I have Dark Souls Remastered because I do really want to get that. But I don't feel like I need to pay for. I won't pay more than $20 for any of these games because I know that I'm probably going to play them for 2 hours and put them down for another 5 years before I really get into them. We get another one from the 4 for $40. This is Dead Island Definitive Collection, so I didn't actually have the first Dead Island in any capacity. I just had Riptide, which I know is like DLC. This series got weirdly complicated. But the thing that really sold me on this one, and I immediately got worried afterwards because I was like, oh god, I hope that's actually on the disc, is that there's a retro-style 2D beat-em-up called Dead Island Retro Revenge that's also included with this package. And I was like, oh, cool, I'd like to play that. You know, that's the thing I'm the most interested in. So I hope I didn't make a mistake and buy a game that only has, like, base games on it, or even one base game, but we'll see. I have Dead Island on some capacity now, even though it's dirt cheap. PS5, just real quick. I got Madden 23. I knew when this came out, I was going to be like, yeah, hey, look, it's Coach on there, and I really appreciate that. I think this is maybe the best cover that they've done in several years now. I hate their covers now. But yeah, EA Sports put Madden on the cover. Obviously, you take that with a grain of salt that, you know, he just passed away. I think it was appropriate to do that and to put him on the cover, so you know, I'm not cynical about that specifically, even though it's EA Sports. And so it's $5 now. And I was like, good. I want this game with Coach on the cover. Far Cry 6, one of the very, very early titles. Once again, buying things just for the people on the cover. It's Giancarlo Esposito's in this. And that's the main thing that interests me about this particular entry. Oh, also there's a dog in it, but yeah, definitely. Far Cry was specifically, it was like about getting the game with Giancarlo Esposito and seeing how that goes. Steelrising. This is a combat game, like a hack and slashy type game set in like French Revolution Paris. Was the thing that really caught my eye. This is part of the 4 for 40, and I was looking for stuff to get, stuff that I hadn't seen before, and decided I should look this up, I should look that up, and this had pretty decent reviews. And the thing, when I picked it up and looked at it and it said French Revolution, I was like, oh, that actually sounds kind of cool. And it had pretty decent reviews and stuff, so I figured that was a good option. And lastly, for this month, we have Redout II for the PS5. Getting this in the 4 for 40 was definitely a really good deal. This is probably the best like value I think I got out of any of these. And I know I still haven't played the first one I got like 3 months ago, but I had my eye on this for the Switch. But for PS5, just being able to build that PS5 collection right now is still pretty cool. So, yeah, that's everything right there. 4 PS5s, 4 Xbox, 4 PS4, and a bunch of other shit. So, I'll see you next month. I'm working on the Conker's Bad Fur Day review right now. I finished the campaign last night. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to let you anticipate that. But there is a post up right now for music for Windy & Co. That was pretty cool. I have nothing but good things to say about that track. Keep an eye out for that review. It'll be interesting. Alright, see you next month.